Hey, animals. What do you think is the thing you guys worry about most in life? Literally nothing. You lead a perfect life, don't you? Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Hello and welcome to Teach with Sarah. That would be me. This would be Jupiter. Today we're going to talk about the top 5 things that I'm worried about before getting into the classroom. So I have compiled my top 5 worries before starting school. They're not really in any particular order. So number 1, I am worried about not being prepared. Oh my gosh, I hate not being prepared. I really don't like it when it's with a group of young people that I'm not prepared, because then it looks like, you're just shooting shit. It looks like you don't really care. It also makes you look like you have no idea what you're doing. And then that's when chaos can ensue, right? When you're not prepared. I've received the year-wide or the year-long map of each of my classes, and it's a lot of information. I'm super excited to have that information, but I don't know how much of that I need to have prepared in advance, right? How much I need to prepare before day 1 of school, and then how much I can prepare as the school year goes along. So do I need to have, the whole first semester planned out? Do I need to just have the first 2 weeks planned out? Who knows? But I'm terrified that I will not be sufficiently prepared. Not only am I worried about not being prepared with lessons and stuff, I want my classroom to be prepared. I want my systems to be prepared. I just want to be prepared. I hate not being prepared. I hate it. It goes with everything in life. When I coach volleyball, I hate coming into practice with no practice plan. Or when another coach is like, oh yeah, I'll run practice today, and they're just doing it randomly off the hip. No way. No way. There's nothing more embarrassing, maybe not embarrassing isn't the right word, but there's nothing worse than coming into practice and they break for water, and then they, coaches huddle together like, what should we do next? And then the players come and they hear you not being prepared. And again, they think you have no idea what you're doing. It's just the worst. I absolutely hate it. So that's my first worry before starting school, not being prepared. The second thing I am most worried about is making a bad first impression. And I know that I really shouldn't care about what others think of me. And so that's not quite what I mean by bad first impression. As a brand new teacher who looks decently young, I am worried that I won't be taken seriously, that I will be known as like the teacher you can take advantage of, so I really want to make sure my first impression, at least for the students, is one of authority, but also balancing that with, I really care about you. I care about not just your grades and how well you do in my class, but I care about you as a human being. And so balancing that kind of tender caregiver with the strict, we got business to take care of. And then where my coworkers are concerned, I do want to be seen as a good team player, a reliable teacher, someone that they can come to for questions or ideas or things like that. And I know this is weird, and I know we live, in the 21st century, but I am a little worried about, my tattoos. I am from American Samoa, which is in the South Pacific. I was born there. My family still lives on island. And so my Samoan culture is a huge part of who I am. And so tattoos are more than just art on your body. While that is a huge part of it, it's also just a symbol of my heritage and my ancestors and things like that. And I know, again, that this is the 21st century and tattoos are more common, but I am a little worried that people might not take me seriously because I have tattoos on my arms and that I won't be able to cover them up as easily. I don't know, I'm just a little worried that it might be seen as unprofessional, even though they are not unprofessional in my culture or by, a lot of today's 21st century standards. So making a bad first impression, I'm really kind of worried about. Number 3, I am a little worried about just losing complete control of my classroom. Classroom management is something that I'm not super, super worried about just because I have worked with 6th through 12th graders for a hot minute. I know how to command a group of teenagers for the most part. I know some kind of tricks and tidbits here and there of how to gain the attention of young people and such. But I still have just like this fear of being that teacher where, the paper airplanes and are like flying and people are like throwing pencils at each other. I don't know. I'm worried of losing complete control of my classroom and just not being able to get it back. That's more of, an irrational worry because at least I don't think kids get to the point where they're screaming and yelling and running around in circles and throwing paper wads and stuff. But who knows? I could just be naive. I've never been in the real life classroom. When I was working at the church, I never had complete loss of control, but you never know. So that is definitely something I'm a little worried about, even though I do have resources to help keep everyone on task. But who knows? Who knows? So number 4 and 5 kind of go hand in hand. Number 4 is kind of a life fear, a fear just in my life. And that is just not making a difference. Ever since, I can remember probably dating back to maybe middle school or something, I've been afraid of just not making a difference in life. And going into this classroom, I'm worried about that. I'm worried that I'm not going to reach kids, that I will teach the material, but that's all, right? It's not going to go deeper. It's not going to help impact who they are as students and young people. I was blessed to have some tremendously great teachers in middle school, high school, college, and in grad school. Teachers that will forever remain a part of me. Y'all get ready for this rant. Shout out to Mr. Garcia, Dr. Hood, Mr. Bennett, Mr. Christ, Miss Pasno, Mr. Quinn, the Wyndham family. Those were my middle school, high school teachers that I'm so grateful for today. Moving into college, Dr. Hall, Glazier Mac, holy moly, without you two. Wow. Moving into grad school, Dr. Sasson, man, love you, Dr. Sasson. Dr. Flesberg for helping me find like my niche of what, oh, there's Jupiter. I am forever grateful for you teachers. I kind of want to cry just thinking about it. You've made such a huge impact in my life, and I hope that you know that. You may never see this, but I just got to get it out there in the world that I could not be who I am today without your love and support when I was a young person. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Okay, rant over.
I'm worried that I will not be one of those teachers, that I will just kind of be boring and one of those teachers that just kind of get forgotten. You know, I want to make a difference in the lives of young people. The teachers that taught me, that made the impact in me, helped mold the person that I am today. I am forever grateful for that. And I'm afraid that I will not be able to give back to the younger generation in the way that the teachers before me poured into me, whether they know it or not. You know, half of those teachers probably don't even remember me, but I will forever be grateful for them. And that is the legacy I want to leave on my students, that they can remember looking back on their time in high school and remember that Mrs. Jennings McDonald loved them and she cared about them despite their grades, despite their performance in the classroom. So yeah, I'm nervous that I will not make a difference. And then number 5 kind of flows into that, but I'm worried that I'm gonna be a bad teacher. When I worked in the church, there were lots of similarities, right? Like I had to prepare lessons, like I had to teach them about things. I had to come up with activities to supplement, but it's very different from the classroom, right? I didn't have them for as long. I was preparing not just lessons and activities, but I was also preparing the games that we would play for youth night and things like that. And I was spanning all genres. You know, I was trying to incorporate art. I was trying to incorporate logic puzzles. I was trying to incorporate just lots of different things. And I'm afraid that because it's an English specific class, that I will not do it well. I don't know. When I was at the church, I know I did my job well. And yes, some of my lessons flopped. Some of my activities, some of my games flopped, right? But it was church. And so the kids were just excited to be there and socialize, right? In the classroom context, while it is similar, it's also very different. Like my job isn't primarily to love on kids like it was in the church. A huge part of my job now is to also make sure they learn. In the church, I didn't have to give tests and quizzes and things like that. You know, it was just learning about their faith and Christianity and other faiths too, because I was that youth pastor, right? I wanted them to learn about everything. That was just part of it, right? If they retained that knowledge, it wasn't that big of a deal. But now I'm going into the real life classroom. I have to test what they've learned, right? And I'm afraid I'm not gonna be good at it. So I am documenting these worries now. One, so that if you are a brand new teacher too, maybe some of your worries are similar. And then also so that as the year progresses, I can come back, I can look at these worries and see if any of them rang true. Hopefully none of them. None of them. Please, Jesus, I hope it's none of them. But we'll see. So what are some of your worries and fears going into the classroom? If you're a brand new teacher and you haven't been in the classroom yet, I want to hear if yours are similar to mine. if you've been in the classroom and you've had a couple years of experience, are your worries similar? Do you even have any worries during the summer? Or since you've done it before, you're like, I'm a champ, I got it. Let me hear from you. I want to hear if experienced teachers have similar worries before starting the school year or not. Make sure you follow, subscribe. Do you hear my dog whining in the background? He got put in his kennel because he was eating out of the trash. Boo. But yeah, like, subscribe, follow me on Instagram, email me, teachwithsarah@gmail.com. Until next time, I'll see you later.